Yo, what's up? We're finally doing it. We're finally going into Unity again. Yo,
Yo,
what's
what's
up?
up?
Oh no, I hear myself. Okay, I've been trying to get the live chat to work and I finally done it. So let's see. Last time I opened the project was 4 months ago, which is actually not true because I remember opening it to test something with the aura effects. So the actual last time I worked on the project was probably like 8 months at least. So let's open it. Let's see how it looks. On this stream, I'm just going to suffer a lot trying to figure out what was doing myself from a year ago. Because if I want to expand the content of the game, first I need to remember how it works. Epic Bash Crazy is here. I'll leave the stream open for watch time hours. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Bro, this takes so long. Okay, it's happening. I have the Unity on Android mode, but I think it doesn't really matter if you're on Android or Windows. Like, I don't remember having any trouble with it. Okay, so first we see this, which is like the main map that you can play right now on the first alpha. Then this is like an aura test that I was doing because like on Dragon Ball Z there are two types of aura. You have like one that's transparent on the inside, and then you have this other type which is like not transparent and glows glows a lot. So I was trying to get that kind of visuals. And I kinda got it, but it was not perfect as you can see. Well, that's just some testing I was doing. We can just hide this for now. So I don't even know where to begin because there's just so much stuff. Like my plan is first of all I need to do mm, like wait, let me look at the list of things I have to do. Okay, so there's this thing I posted on the Discord server. So we have performance improvements, bug fixing, new UI. This is visual, so no code needed for that. Dev screen, restart match button, make objects transparent when they get in front of the character. Yeah, because like right now, can I even play the game as it is? Because I'm not even at the main menu. Can I control this Super Vegeta? Okay, this has the Android control. Yeah, I can. Like this is not actually Super Vegeta. Like it's not completed at all. He only has like the basic movements, right? But the rest is like when you do certain moves, he becomes Super Saiyan 1 again, as you can see. But he's looking huge, bro. Like he's going to be an insane character once he's ready. Okay, Like I can use both the Android controls and the PC controls at the same time. It's weird. Like I remember, like I did like 99% of the code myself without AI, but for this thing here, for like the Android controls, I think I byte coded them. So that's like the only thing I don't really know how it works. So for some reason right now I can control the character both with my keyboard and with these controls. I'll have to figure out why does that happen. It's a bit weird, I guess. So yeah, like first of all, I need to understand how everything works so I can make performance improvements. And then after that, the bug fixing. Like I actually have listed all of the bugs on a Trello page I have, and I know all the bugs that I have to fix. Well, at least most of them. And I remember I investigated a bit the reasons behind the biggest bugs. So I already have hints for that, but for everything else, I really need to like remember how does everything work. So the main thing is how do the scripts work. So here we have like 1,000,000,000 scripts. I don't even know what does every single one of them do. Like I remember there was one called player controller here, which is like the main one. Let's open up this one first. Like, bro, I'm going to have probably this is going to be like a series of 20 streams of me just relearning everything I did back then. This is cursor. I don't need these tabs right now. Not going to ask the AI anything. Bro, why is the tab not closing? Okay, so you can see this is like the main script that controls the overall like functionality of the characters, and it's like a lot of lines long. I don't know, should I just read all of this code again to remember what happens here? I think first of all I'm just going to look at what were the main scripts. My computer is kinda dying. Okay, so I remember a lot of the scripts are really like short and they are not very important. So first of all, I should identify all the main functionality scripts that actually matter, which are the ones that I actually need to understand. So let's go one by one. There are also these folders which have like more specific scripts, like AI scripts for the character AI. Blast. This I don't even know what this is, bro. Like what? So this is all of the logic for the blast, for blast attacks, for key attacks. Then character. This is like for the state machines of the characters. For like this is where you add for each character the moves that they have, and you bind them to keys and that kind of stuff. Then this is nothing, like this is some debug script I have. Then this is okay. This is for like some utility for the editor, which was useful for adding new characters. I don't remember right now how it works. I think it appears like this is another byte coded thing. I think, yeah, it's like these two functionalities which allow me to like duplicate an existing character. Mm, then general functions. This is for decals. So decals are the, like, let me show you. I don't even know if I can show you because this isn't even regular Vegeta. This is a modified Vegeta. I don't know if he has Big Bang attack. Oh yeah, he has. Okay, so when you shoot, like when there are explosions, you can see decals on the ground and on the walls. Like here, you can see a decal. So these two scripts control the decals. Then graphics settings. Okay, this is for like adjusting the graphics settings. Independent team assigner. I don't even know what this is. I think this is where when you select independent team, you get automatically, like, there are teams 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for independent, what I did was you just select independent, but what the game is actually doing is setting you to a negative number team. So if you select independent, you become team -1, and then if another character selects independent, he becomes -2. So like, it just, every character has its own unique value assigned or something like that, I think. Then object manager, I don't know what this is, but it's pretty long, so I guess it's important. I'm going to open it out of curiosity. Well, this is going to take so much time. Like, I really don't remember much of the stuff. What is this, bro? Object manager. Add human player. Destroy character. Oh, okay. So this is for adding new objects to the scene, either players or blasts, and then destroying them. Then there's like a transform character function, which, yeah, it has like character and target prefab. So basically, this is you give it an input character, for example, Goku, base form Goku, and then the transformation he has to go to, so Super Saiyan Goku. And this function probably is like the code that deletes your current character and spawns the transformation of the character. And this receive Charlie list. I don't know what this is. Spawn characters. There are so many functions. You know, like, oh. On scene loading. Bro, why is the code not commented? Like, there are some comments, but I should have commented each function to know what the function does. But instead, I just put random comments inside the code. Like, it's more important to comment what the function does in general. Like, bro, why was I so stupid? Well, I guess here I have a useful comments. Spawn characters when main scene is loaded. This is so confusing. I'm going to leave this for later. This seems to be like some utility script for like deleting and adding new objects, and for the spawning of the characters when the fight begins and that kind of stuff. And O-point class, okay. O-point is like it's like what in original Little Fighter 2 is used to spawn like objects or blasts or whatever. So I mean, I don't think I need to understand this. Like, this is just a function that gets called, and you put in all of these parameters, and it spawns the object. Like, you give it the prefab, so the object you want to spawn, and the position, the facing, either right or left, the theme of the object, Beam struggle. I don't. This is no. I don't know what this is. Beam struggle. What? What is this, bro? Why is there like a? What does beam struggle have to do with Opoin, bro? Okay, so since I'm going to relearn all of the code again, I guess this time I can actually comment it correctly, even if it takes me like 2 months. It will be worth it if I can properly comment and document everything. Okay, let's look at more scripts. Player spawn. Another pretty long script. So, like, bro, why don't I have like a big comment here? Oh, I can actually just use the AI to explain to myself what does this do. Like, look, the AI is automatically commenting something. How did the okay? Bro, look, the AI gave me a comment. Maybe this explains what the script does. In order to spawn a player, you need to call the spawn player function with the following parameters. Okay, it's actually explaining something. Prefab name, the name of the prefab, the prefab to spawn, player, the player number, team, the team number. So this is for like spawning not a character, not a NPC, but an actual player, like a human player or what? Why does it say team number 1, 2? Like there are 4 teams, not 2. This AI is stupid, bro. Okay, so I'm so confused, bro. I don't know what to do. There are so many scripts. I don't know what any of it does. Like, how could I forget absolutely everything, bro? That's a consequence of scripting it all in 1 month and then forgetting about it for a whole year. You just forget. Okay, but all of these scripts are like for spawning things and destroying objects and all of that. Maybe I should leave this for last, or maybe not. Like, I don't know if I should start with just the scripts that make the characters work, or if I should start with the scripts that make like the matches work, you know? Maybe I can just start with these, to be honest. But like when I programmed the game, I started first with the player controller script, which is the one that moves the character. But I don't really need. I don't have to relearn the project in the same order that I did it in the first place. I think. Mm, fine. Player where I have no comments. Like this is the only comment I have. Assign the skin data to the character player control. Bro, I don't know what any of that means. Was I like smarter before? Have I become more stupid? What is this, man? Uh, Prefab manager. Yet another very long script. Bro, what is this? This is like a list of all of the prefabs. or something. I see a lot of move names. Yeah, this is like all of the prefabs that every character uses. Mm, I haven't understood a single line of code yet after 20 minutes of stream, bro. This is insane. This is way worse than I thought. Like, why do we have to load? What does even resources dot load do? Root singleton. Bro, what is this? I remember root singleton being like an object that is unique to the whole game, but oh yeah, like here I have like a single instance of every script that only needs one instance. So for example, the sound effect manager has like a has like an instance here because I only need one sound effect manager. That's why it's on a root singleton. Yeah, I can leave this for later, definitely. Then there's yet another root singleton, but this one is way shorter. Maybe this is like a garbage script, or maybe it's not. It's an actual script, or is it some garbage that I forgot to do it? No, maybe this is like the. Could this be like the script that instantiates the. Oh, no, it's not. This instantiates itself. I think this is like some garbage script. Then there's a sound effect manager, which I don't care about right now. The sound mixer manager, which is something else about the sound. Then menu. There are lots of scripts for the menu, apparently. Bro, there's too much stuff. At least they have it kind of organized in folders. Like at least all of the menu scripts are on a menu folder, because if I didn't do that, uh, I will just kill myself right now. Then touch screen. This is for the Android controls, which, as I said, this is byte coded, so I'm not even going to try and understand it. So okay, so those are the specific folders. Yo, why is Unity the worst game engine? What are you saying? Unity is goated, bro. What's your problem? Yeah, it's this is some script. Yeah, bro, you have to explain yourself. Why the hate? Why all the hate? Oh, like I think today I'm just going to try figure out where to even start. Like because I'm lost. Like I'm absolutely lost right now. So let's look at these scripts that are outside of the folders. So first, animator controller. I don't know what this does. I don't remember at all. Let's open it, maybe. Mm, hmm. Yeah, I don't know what does this do. Like, I have no clue what this is. Yeah, bro, I know it controls the animator component, but I want to understand what does it exactly do. Like, I remember having lots of scripts like this, but they were like a specific move script, but this is like a general script, so it's so random. Like, I'm probably just doing everything wrong. Like, I'm starting from the end. Like, this is not the first thing I should be looking at. Because, like, as I said before, first I did this. I remember first coding this script right here, which is the long one. This one. And then after that, I made the state machines. And then after that, I started doing things with the animator. This aura controller. This is for like the active auras and all that stuff. This is aura fly smooth rotation. Okay, so this is for like when Vegeta flies, he has like an aura that follows him. You know, like an aura with a trail. So this is for that, I guess. And billboard, this is probably the thing where the characters rotate upwards. Like instead of being like this, they are like this facing the camera, so you see them straight instead of like straight. Then building different. What is this, bro? I don't even know what does this word mean. Like it's insane to think that I actually did all of this, and now I don't remember anything. Like what? Building manager. Okay, I guess so. Let's see what it is. What does dithering mean? Dithering is a method for trying to make an image look good while reducing the number of colors it uses. What? I don't remember doing that. I'm getting trolled. I have like coroutines here for some reason. Oh, I think I know what this is. I think. Or maybe not. No, maybe I don't know. Ah, go through all the renders attached to the current dithering manager. What's the dithering manager, bro? What is it? Like, I have comments here, but I don't know what any of them mean. Like, bro, you have to understand this. All of these scripts are something that they call it like in one day, and then I forgot about them because they just worked. They did the thing that they had to do, so I just never opened them again. And now I'm just opening them, and it's like I never wrote this. If invisibility is true and different from the last. What invisibility? What? What? Oh wait, building manager. I think okay. I think I know what this is. Oh yeah, this is like yeah. This is when you go inside the building and the walls become invisible, and the dithering is like the transparency effect. Wait, let me show you. Okay, so you have this. So the dithering, I think, is the fact that can I go frame by frame? Yeah, yeah. So as you can see here, it's kind of transparent, but it's not actually transparency because as you can see, there are like pixels. You know, it's not alpha transparency, but it's like I don't know how to explain it. Let me open paint.net because it's better than MS Paint, of course. So like regular transparency will be like you have something and regular transparency is this like you make it go like invisible, you decrease the alpha channel, but this different thing is something more like how can I show it? I think paint has yeah here. Instead of actually making it transparent, you make this kind of pixel holes on it. So when you look away from it, it looks like it's transparent, kinda. You know? So I think this is what different is, maybe. Like this is how the transparency of the house works. Because I remember if I used alpha instead of dithering, then I got some bugs that I don't remember right now, but I do remember that I have to use this dithering thing. And I guess that's what this does. Or something. I don't know. Like some of the things like I don't really need to remember this in particular because if the script works and there are not bugs related to it, then I don't really need to remember. Because like there that's a very specific script like for making the building transparent. I don't really care that much about that right now. Then we have this camera move which is very long. What is this? Okay, yeah. I actually remember this one. This is the first script outside of the main like 3-4 scripts that I actually remember. This is like the way the camera moves, the way it follows the player, and the way it's limited to only move within the borders of the map. So, for example, this is the X range and the C range of the camera, and there's some other stuff which I don't care. No, I actually do care about this because there's a bug where if you go all the way down, the camera doesn't really move like down enough. It should move even more down, but it doesn't. Let's see if I can replicate it. Yeah, like look, you can see Vegeta's legs, and that's a problem. Like the camera should move more to the bottom, but it doesn't. So yeah, I in the future I do need to relearn this script so I can fix that. Mm, yeah, cutscene handler, bro. The cutscene code is like I remember is the worst part of the whole project. Like making the cat's moves work was a nightmare. And like cutscene has like 10 different scripts to make it all work. It was awful. There's this kind of like there's I remember I used a lot this kind of functions where you input different no you input like a string separated with commas, and then the function transforms that string into like different types. So maybe you write 5 comma 6.7 or something, and you will get out an int with the value of 5 and a float with the value of 6.7, that kind of stuff. And I needed that because on the animator, you could only input strings, but I needed more data types than strings. Okay, then this destructible asset. Okay, so this is basically the code for making assets destructible, like the trees and the and the rocks. Like, this is what makes this thing work, and this other thing too. There are really no bugs coming from that, so I don't think I care that much about it. There's too much stuff to relearn to start relearning stuff that I don't actually need to relearn right now. Okay, then dual fill slider. What? Bro, some of these scripts have like the most random names possible. Okay, so dual fill slider. What is this? This is so random. Like seriously, why don't I have like a comment at the beginning of the class telling me what does this do? Like, did I really think in the past I could understand what a dual fill slider is? Okay. Oh, this is for the UI for the yeah. This is for the health no for the keybar. Like the keybar has two fields of two different colors. So I think this is for that. You see red field and orange field, and here you see like the orange one, and when I enter aura mode, also a red one appears. So yeah, that's the code for the dual field slider. I call it slider because the component is called a slider, but yeah, it's like the bar, the key bar. Okay, Effect 8 Manager. So Effect 8 is what's in Little Fighter 2. It's a term used for like when you hit an enemy with your hit like with a hitbox, yeah. And Effect 8 modifies the state of the enemy you just hit. So maybe you can use an Effect 8 to make the enemy go to like stand state. So like you just hit him once and he starts doing like this. That's one use that you can give to the Effect 8. Then fake hitbox. What's a fake hitbox? What? Oh, I actually have a comment explaining. Have to do this crap in order to be able to have hitboxes whose C position doesn't flip when flipping the character to the left. You want to have frames with hitboxes that are not C symmetry, and for those frames you gotta edit the position and shape of the box sliders to the fake hit emoji. Bro, what? Yeah, you remember, like, there was a problem. Let me open Paint again. But I kind of feel like I never ended up using this fake hitbox thing. But I remember there was a problem, like, if you're this character and you have, like, one hitbox like this, I'm going to make it red. You have one hitbox like this, then there's no problem with it. This is like a top view, so the camera is pointing downwards. I don't know how to explain it, like, but like this is the ground here. So like if you have just one hitbox like this or like this, doesn't matter. It's everything is alright. But if you have like an asymmetrical hitbox on the z-axis, like here, I think that gives problems or something, and that's why I made this. But I really do not recall using it at all. This script will automatically update the real hitboxes with the fake hitbox values if the real hitboxes are active and if the process the C position of both the game object and the collider box in order to give the C position system. Bro, this is like 300 IQ mind games you have to do for some stuff to work. I don't know. I don't think it's very important, but maybe it's not important because I haven't really made any moves that have asymmetrical hitboxes. Maybe once I do those, I will need to use this thing. Okay, FPS cap. This is something for capping my FPS, which doesn't really matter. And general catch box. Okay, this is yet another script for the catching system, which, as I said, is the most painful part of all of the logic this project has. I'm not going to open it. Like I don't want to know anything about the catching system right now. Hitbox. Okay, this is one of the main scripts. This controls everything that has to do with hitboxes. It's pretty long. Yeah, it's giving me like, bro, this whole thing is giving me PTSD, bro. Like, I really suffered during that month of 8 hours a day of developing the game. And now I have to go through all of that again. Okay, hitbox activator. What is this? Again, there are no comments. No comments explaining what does this do. As per usual, enable hitbox. I guess this enables and disables hitboxes. But like, why would I even need to use this if I control the hitboxes through the animator? Like, this is so random. I'm going to ignore it. Hitbox SP. I don't remember what is this exactly. I remember using it, but I don't know what was the use of it. Bro, what's a hitbox SP? Why can't they have like a small comment explaining what does it mean? Yeah, I know I can ask the AI to do everything for me, but I would rather like struggle a bit with it, Like I coded basically 95% of this project myself, and I wanted to continue doing it, even if it's inefficient. I think it's a good mental exercise to try figure out stuff by myself. Yeah, like if my purpose was to just get the update as fast as possible, I will use AI, but what I want to do with this is like kind of train my mind to be able to understand code that I wrote some time ago. Because like I vibe coded three different apps, and bro, it feels like shit. Like the AI does everything, you get the perfect app, but you don't know what just happened. Like it feels so wrong. I don't know. I don't like it at all. Like I've always really liked to understand how everything works, even if it takes time. Okay, the hit controller is one of the main scripts I remember. It's kind of the thing that controls what happens when your character gets hit by some hitbox. Then the hardbox is very small, as you can see. It only has like one thing. It just stores what the character is, and that's everything. Like all of the hitbox stuff is on the hitbox script, not on the hardbox one. But then there's hardbox receiver. Like all of these scripts, hitbox, hardbox, hit controller, all of this is part of the hitbox system, which allows you to like hit multiple enemies at once with one single hitbox, and also allows it to like have what in Little Fighter 2 is called B rest, which is like an interval of time, like for example 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds the hitbox will hit again the enemy, you know. So all this hitbox system manages exactly that, like multiple enemy hits and B rest system. And there are even more stuff which I'm not mentioning, but that's the main thing. Then there's IK8. IK8 is like a hitbox, but instead of hitting, it just detects that a collision has happened against an enemy hardbox. Then key charge, aura vanish. This is for like when the key charge aura disappears or something. Then LW decal. This is something about decals which I don't care about. Name tag. This is for the name tags that appear, like the player one, player two, or the com. Then new aura controller. Yes, something about auras. Then the main player controller. Then player join. What is? Oh, this is for like joining new human players or something, I guess. Rendered interpolation. I don't know what this is, and I'm going to ignore it, to be honest. Sprite sorting order. I don't think I ever used this. I think originally I wanted to make a script which controlled which sprites were displayed in front of which others, but in the end I just used the fact that Unity is 3D, so I just used the 3D space for that. And team, this is nothing. Terrain bake, nothing that I care about. Terrain streamer, this is mm, like I remember I was working on a system where I divided the whole terrain into chunks, so it only got loaded the chunk of terrain that the camera was seeing at the time, so that it was more optimized. But this alpha map doesn't include it, but because it's pretty small in comparison. And UI controller, mm, I don't know what this is, bro. Well, I guess it's the script that controls everything that happens on the UI or something. Then visual effects controller, well, cuts box. uh, walk, cut, walks. All of these are scripts for the cutting system again. Then Y scale. Mm, this is for like scaling up the characters, which is needed because of the angle of the camera. So yeah, like I went through all of the scripts to see kinda overall what things should I look at. And to be honest, I'm just going to start with the player controller, which is the main one. So let's close everything. This is from player controller. And let's start looking at it. So okay, first we have some stats. These are like the max stats because your remember your power level is dynamic, so the more key you charge, the higher your stats are. Then this is the variables for the dynamic stats. Mm, this is like the bold for dead, like if the character is dead or if he's alive. Active aura mode. Okay, yeah. Move input. This is a vector 2 for the input of the movement. Character defending directions. Defending front, defending back. Okay, yeah, so like I remember like technically I didn't really test it, but technically in this game you can add defense both in the front and the back of the character. It's not like in LF2 where the characters only defend from the front. And references to components. Okay, so like all of this upper part of the script is just like a lot of declaration of instances of other scripts. So first main camera, like you get the reference for the main camera. Here you create a state machine for the character. This is a state factory. Mm, the animator, the rigid body, player renderer, sprite renderer. I should also look at how the structure of a character is. Like this is the character object. And what do we have here? Where I don't remember how to move around here. Okay, we have body, which is it has like some collider. So the capsule collider is the one that interacts with the world. They don't know what this box collider even is. Like they don't even see it anywhere. Oh, it's actually there, but it's very small. I don't know if maybe it's something I forgot to delete or something. I don't know. And hitboxes. Here you have like a bunch of hitboxes. I think you can add more, or maybe not. I don't remember. Yeah, you can add more probably. I don't see why you couldn't. Mm, but I usually only use one, but technically you can add even more. And hitbox SP, I don't know what this is. Oh, I know. Like, okay, this is when you get in Dance of Pain, any enemy that is standing in front of you should do a super punch instead of a regular punch. So this hitbox is this kind of thing. So any enemy that stands within this area here, within that box, will perform a super punch instead of a regular punch. Then the aura, then this is the walk cut. This is when you're walking and getting the range of an enemy which is in Dance of Pain, you catch him. So this walk cut thing, this object gets activated while you're walking. Yo, back from my walk, I was literally just talking about walking. Oh, no one's here. Well, there are 5 people watching, but barely anyone besides from King Kodo is commenting. Bro, how the chat stays the entire time. Yeah, I guess I didn't really change the configuration. Yo, Bash, I need help. Like, I don't understand 99% of the code. Like, how is this possible? I remember. Wow, you're a real streamer because you have face cam and chat. Epic. I might be a real streamer, but I still don't understand anything on this project. Just go back to the old streams. Bro, I started streaming on day 70 of the development. Mm. Okay, then we have C point. Bro, why is there so much stuff? I remember writing some documentation, but I only wrote it at the beginning of the development, so it's very outdated. So, like, I remember there's a pretty good explanation on how the hitbox system works, so I could read it for that. And maybe there's also an explanation for the catching system, but like, bro, bro, what do you mean? You don't even write code anymore, bro. You can't tell me that. At least I wrote the code myself. And like, I added comments, but they are not like, for example, this document is filled with comments, but there are other scripts which I open and I don't see a single comment that's important, you know? Like, for example, I open Hitbox SP and like what I see is a bunch of code and not a single explanation on what Hitbox SP even means. I now know what it means, but like I didn't know it before. Okay, more stuff. Oh, these are the fake hitboxes, but I'm pretty sure I don't use them at all. Like this thing is not activated, and it doesn't. Mm, okay, so like maybe the fake hitboxes are only there to like give you the coordinates of the colliders, and then the coordinates get like copy pasted to the actual hitboxes or something. But I never got to use them. Okay, then we have the player renderer is the part of the character that renders the sprite. So inside, okay, here there's a script called renderer interpolation, which I remember this was needed because on this game the camera follows the character, but the frame rate of the movement of the camera is like not the same as the frame rate of the game or the frame rate at which the character moves, because the movement of the character uses like a fixed frame rate while the camera uses a variable frame rate. So this interpolate, so like the problem with that was that when the character moved, like instead of moving smoothly, you could see it move like this, you know. So in order to fix that weird jitter, I have to create this script which like visually interpolates the position of the sprite so that the way the sprite moves is the same as the way the camera moves, and that jitter doesn't occur. Then sprite render is it has the sprite render component, and it's the part of the character which actually renders the sprite. Then to animate the character, what I do is I have somewhere an animator. I don't know where, probably here. Yeah, here on the main object, I have the animator, and through the animator, I can control basically everything. I can control the activation and disabling of the hitboxes, their positioning, the C points. I can control the sprite, so I can animate. So maybe I can show here, I don't know, something that's more complex, like jump attack. So all of this, here you can see the animation, the hitbox appear there. You see the green box, it appears right when the hit happens and then disappears. So the animator basically controls all of these components. Sprite render, canvas. Okay, the canvas, I used it for like the UI or something. For like I think I used it for these bars. But in the future, I have to change it and I have to stop using canvas. Either that or just use one canvas for the whole scene, because canvases are really like performance consuming. So if each character uses their own canvases, then the game explodes basically. So this is something I need to change in the future. I don't care about it right now though, because right now only the U1 players have UI. Then this is the player marker. That's the circle that appears on the ground here. And active aura. This is when you enter aura mode. When you start farming aura. Then key charge aura is the aura for charging key. Actually, if I start key charging, you can see the game object here activate. So like now I'm going to start key charging. And if you look here, you see that the object activates and then gets disabled. And if I activate the aura, the active aura gets activated too. Okay. Then we have fly aura. This one is the one that appears with the trail, like this kind of aura with a trail. For the flying, that's what the fly aura is. Then the name tag, yeah, it's the name tag of the player. So now let's go back to the script. So here we have the reference to stuff. The main camera, stick machine, stick factory, the animator. The animator is part of this object. It's a component here. Then the rigid body player renderer. Player renderer is just this game object here. Then sprite renderer is this component here. Aura is the charge aura, active aura, fly aura. So this is just for getting the references of all of the components of the player, the character. Then this part is important. This is the reference of the hit controller of the character, which is the script that controls everything that happens when you get hit. Then UI controller, I don't remember exactly what part of the UI gets controlled, but probably it's the health bars and the key bars. Then catching attacker, catching beating. This is when you catch an enemy. So the enemy will get here stored on catching victim, and if you get caught by someone, then the attacker gets stored here. So there's actually a comment here, reference to the enemy that is catching you. Need as a double check so that the enemy stops the catching if you get caught by a second enemy. Because there, like on the catching system, there were so many edge cases. Like, what happens if you catch an enemy, but then a different enemy, like a different ally, comes and catches this and tries catching the same enemy? What should happen there? Like, all of that edge cases were a huge pain. Then catching, yeah, I catching victim controller. Like what? Oh yeah, this is the player controller of the victim. The materials for active aura color swap. What color swap? Is this for like when? No, I don't understand. Why will the aura color swap? Is it for when you are transforming? I guess it's when you transform and your aura color changes. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. Mm, where like this is not well organized. Like there are some cutting references here, and then there's some like references to aura stuff, and then after that you have again things about catching. So why is this here instead of up there? Like I'm going to change the order because actually this is throwing, which is also related to catching. So I should just take this and place it down here. Then vector 3 player renderer base pose. Initial position, local position of the player renderer game object if it starts here. Mm, okay. Then frame velocity and frame move. Bro, I am stupid or what? Why did I write the exact same comment on both of these? I guess here I meant dx, dy, dc instead of dv. Like, if you use frame velocity, you will keep the same velocity on the same frames, while if you use frame move, you only move from on the specific frame that you're using. Pretty sure that's how it works. Then facing right. Okay, so this is very important, like having a variable that tells you which side is the character facing, either right or left, because when the character faces left, you have to flip the whole thing, which flips both the sprites and also all of the hitboxes and horde boxes. And I think in order to do that, I used like a 180 degrees rotation, because no, actually I ended up using, yeah, now I actually remember what happened with the thing that was called fake hitboxes. Like I told you before that if you use like asymmetrical hitboxes like this, for example, that will give problems, because then if you rotate the character, bro, what, bro? Okay, my computer is dying. Okay, I think it's fixed. So like if you rotate this, now it's the other way around. Like instead of looking like this, it should look like this, you know? So that's the reason I had like that fake hitbox thing. But I do remember now that in the end, instead of rotating like this, I ended up just scaling negatively. So the reason why I didn't do this from the beginning is because like Unity has a problem with colliders. If you scale negatively a collider, there are bugs with the normals of the collider, but that's only a problem if you care about the normals, but I do not care about the normals at all. I only care about if two colliders are colliding or not. So I just ended up using that, like the negative scale, because it removed a lot of the problems I had. So I should probably just comment, now that I know, I should comment on the fake hitbox script. Okay. Um, these two colliders are colliding. Yo, bro, were you here the whole time or did you just join? Yes. Okay, bro. The whole time. Epic. Mm, okay, guys, we're at line 100. There are only 1,500 lines left. So no worries. Like in 3 years or something, I might understand how this project works. Okay, let's continue. Freezing right. Then freezing right int is, instead of true or false, it just says 1 or -1, maybe, I think, or 1 or 0. I needed that for something which I do not remember right now. If it was bad, it will have maybe like 5 lines to it. All these comments. You mean all of the, yeah, bro? Like this part is actually commented, unlike others. I wish all of my scripts were like this. Okay, ground layer mask for assigning the layer corresponding to ground elements that trigger landing frames. Okay, so I think this is like Unity has this very epic um, layers. Okay, so you can just set certain objects to a certain layer, and then you can use the layer for logic. So, for example, here I have this layer mask object. So I just set this to be the ground layer, which is this one, ground. And then every time mm, the like the hardbox of the character interacts with any collider from the ground layer, it gets detected. So I can use this for like triggering land frames. Because if I didn't use this, then like if you fell like over an enemy, you will land over the enemy instead of landing on the ground and that kind of stuff, which will not work very good. Okay, then body tail for getting the size of the body collider and setting the boxcast ground detector. Oh yeah, there's like a I use like raycasts to detect if the ground is there or not. Mm, okay, so this is for like getting the size of I think this capsule collider or something like that. Bro, this I remember that I wrote radios instead of radio, and it just stayed like that because it was funny and I didn't want to change it everywhere. So here you have a very epic name of a variable. Then there's capsule height, last moving input, stores the last non-zero movement input vector. So this is needed because sometimes your character has to do something depending on the last input that you pressed. So here I just store the last input that you used. So if you press right and then stop pressing right, the fact that you pressed right before will get stored. And this is all of the input buffers. Like this is just for every single input, you have like a thing that stores if the input was used or held on this frame. Then another one which stores the amount of time it was held for. Then another one stores if jump has been used in the last jump buffer seconds. And where is jump buffer? Like jump buffer, I guess it's just it's bro what? This description doesn't really make any sense. So this is something like when you press a key, there's like a small timer. So like for example, you press attack, and the fact that you pressed attack will still like it will still get detected for the next like half a second or something. It depends on the amount of buffer you have, and this is like very useful for being able to input multiple key combinations. And yeah, like a lot of buffer variable things. Velocity before crowd. I think this is like when you jump, like when you're falling down and you land on the ground. This is for storing the velocity you had right before landing, which is useful for something which I don't remember right now. And double tap variables. This is for running. You have to double tap right or left. Bro, there are so many references. Like it's like 200 lines of just setting references. Like so far, we haven't got any logic at all. It's just reference getting. Like we're just defining variables, and that's it. Actually, lots of these variables are not even managed through this script in particular, and are actually managed through different scripts that have access to this one script. Character type. Uh, where was I? I got lost, bro. Okay, next. Next is pretty important, I think. Okay, next is important because generally you can only transition to the next animation if the current animation finishes or something. So I use this boolean to like mark on the animator that I want a transition to happen on a specific frame if a specific input has been pressed. Then round teleport. Uh, this is like mid combo. You want your character to teleport. So if this bool is true, then the character only will teleport on the ground without going up and down, or something. Then combo target. Okay, this is the last enemy you've hit. So like the combos need you to store the enemy target, so that you can teleport besides them. So this just stores the last enemy you've hit, and that's it. Then effect 8 stores if an enemy was hit on this exact frame. Okay, makes sense, I guess. Teleport offset. An offset to be applied. Okay, so all of these variables are, well, not all of them, but this one and this one and this one are actually controlled through the animator, I think. Like on the animator, you can like trigger a teleport and you can set the offset of the teleport. Then independent, yeah, we saw the independent team assigner before, so this is just a reference to it. Then a reference to the oppoint class, and we create a game mode. No, like what? I think this is a reference to the actual oppoint, like the object that marks the position where you want the thing to be. Yeah, like this oppoint. Like this object literally has nothing. It's just an empty object that marks a position. When flag stores if something was appointed on this frame. I guess that's useful for something. Beam struggle. Oh, also the beam struggle code, bro. That was absolutely awful code. Like both the cutscene system and the beam struggle system are the worst. And the worst part is that I have two detected bugs on beam struggle, so I actually have to relearn how beam struggle works, which sucks. I know, like that really sucks. I don't want to get back into the beam struggle code. I'm really going to suffer a lot for the next like 20 streams trying to figure out everything. But it's going to be worth it because like I want to make it so that after this review of the code, I can have like a proper documentation. So in the future, I can just read that documentation instead of just reading every single line of code, which is what I'm going to do now. Mm, okay. Last appointed object. Reference used to store the last appointed object. It is especially useful for holding continuous beams. Okay, yeah, like, yeah, because if you shoot, for example, a Kamehameha, then your character needs to know where that beam is. Because if you want to stop shooting it, you need you need to be able to access the reference of that beam. Because if you can't access it, you can't make it stop. So that's why this is important. Beam struggle slider. This is the slider that appears up like over your character when a beam struggle happens and marks the amount of force you're putting into the struggle. And summoner stores the object that appointed this instance. This is in case that you are some sort of uh, spawned enemy. Like if this object has been spawned by someone, like summoned by someone, it gets stored there. Effect 9-8 manager. Yeah, this is yet another reference to a controlling script. And blinking. Okay, this is just for marking if this character is blinking right now. Blinking is when the character literally blinks and you can't hit him because he's invincible during that time. An object manager. Yeah, yet another controlling script. Or explosion. And it's a string. Like, what? This is so random, bro. Character type, character type. I guess character type is like this thing here. Character type, yeah. Character type is just what character is it? Is it Gogeta? Is it Super Saiyan Gogeta? Is it Super Saiyan Vegeta? Is it Super Saiyan Grade 2 Vegeta? Okay, render interpolation needed stuffs. Okay, yeah, this is what we saw before about interpolating the sprite so the frame rate matched the frame rate of the camera. And IK8 manager, yet another controller script. Name tag for avoiding the flip of the name tag when the character flips. Makes sense. You don't want the words of like the characters of the name tag to flip when you look at the other side. Player marker. Okay, yeah. Scheme. Need to pass the fucking scheme again after fucking this. Okay, I was kinda pissed off when writing this, probably. That's my guess. I guess I was pissed off. Like, I don't know. Do you think I was pissed off when I wrote this? Was I? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, and now we actually start getting the references. Like all of the variables that we have declared up here are now getting the references. So hit controller is getting the component hit controller. The state machine is actually creating a new state machine because every instance of every character has its own state machine. It controls what state the character is in right now. And assigned controller, like, whoa, bro. Like here, we're just getting into what's happening inside the state machine, and I can't really understand this until I go inside of the state machine code. So like right now, I don't even know if I should like go to the state machine code or if I should just continue with this document. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm getting tired already. Like this is extremely annoying. Oh, actually, this makes sense. This is just. Oh, yeah, of of course, like every state machine is assigned to a player, to a character, and each character has its own unique player controller. So this is just telling the state machine that this one is the player controller that it has to control. Then here I initialize the state machine, and here this is like peak, basically this peak coding. Like the state machine, you cannot just use these functions. I coded it so you just use a function, and as a parameter you pass an instance of a new state. So this is generally how the state transitions work. This is like using initialize, but then for changing from the current one to a new one, there's like a different keyword instead of initialize. And basically you just use a function, and as the parameter you pass the instance of the state that you want the character to transition to. So it's pretty easy to use. I remember that. And there's yet another reference and more references. All these are references to the already defined variables. So you just use the transform.find. How did this work? Like transform accesses the transform of the object that this script is attached to. And then from the transform you can use find to find like child objects, I think. Yeah, because player render is a direct child of the main object. And then from this accesses to the transform of this game object, and then from this transform you again use the find to find yet another transform, and then you end up here on the keychart aura object, and then you have the transform of that object, but you actually want the game object, not the transform, and that's why you end the line with dot game object, so you can get the game object from that transform. Like that's how you get references of child objects. You access to the transform, and then from the transform you can navigate down through the hierarchy. Now, here we have render, like it's all, this is all reference setting. This body, so like this is this child object, which has a capsule collider. Okay, yeah. Like body is basically the object that contains the capsule collider, which interacts with the environment. Yeah, and there are even more references. The oppoint reference to the oppoint object, which is this one here. Then we have beam struggle. There's like an object for beam struggles, or what? Why is there a beam struggle reference here? Game object dot find. What? Is this like a general object? Yeah, this is actually like a global object that's sitting here in the scene. So like beam struggles, like I remember kind of how beam struggles work. There are like struggle groups, and all of them are managed by this script. So when two beams collide, they enter like beam struggle group number 1, and then if another beam comes, it joins the same group. But if two other beams collide on a different place, then they will create a new group, which will be beam struggle group 2. So it kind of works like that, and then within each group the total velocity of the beams gets calculated based on the strength of each beam. And at the same time, since the beams are colliding, they are doing damage to each other. So it ends up, so in the end, like one of the two will win because the other one gets destroyed. And that kind of weird stuff. You have the state machine reference or something. Yeah, here you're actually setting the reference of an object that it's not even inside the script. Like you're accessing the heat controller, which is here, and then you're accessing to the state machine attribute, and you're setting the reference here because like heat controller and player controller are very like they work together a lot. I could actually just put the two of them on the same script, but heat controller has more the part of the code which controls what happens when you get hit, while player controller has the rest of the code. The UI controller is for the UI. Yeah, more references, and that's it. Okay, that's. Are there even more references? Yeah, of course. On the start function, there are even more. This is so stressful, bro. And I'm on the easy part right now. Like, there's so much stuff left. Like, so far, everything that we've seen are references to other objects. Like, that's everything we've seen so far. So I can't really document anything from here. Like, my plan is to, on each stream, read a bunch of code and write some documentation on that code, but like so far I can't write anything from this because it's just references to other objects. Like there's nothing happening here. Effect 8 manager. Okay, start. Maybe I can just stop streaming now because I finally finished the awake function and I've gotten into the start function. Or maybe I can. No, was it awake? No, yeah. I finished awake and now it's start. We can try finishing start too. Is player. No, actually, this variable is getting defined right here. It's like local. Init component player input. Is player input like some component that's sitting on the main object? Yeah, it is. Bro, also like the input system was also pretty weird to work with. Like I remember there were a bunch of bugs with it, and you have to. There was like only one right way of assigning the controls, and if you tried a different way, sometimes it worked and some other times it didn't. And I remember that drove me crazy because like it wasn't even my fault. I was doing it right, but some of the times the controls were properly assigned and others they just didn't work. And right now I don't even remember what the right way of doing it was. It's a problem. Okay, so here list of input devices. If keyboard current it's not null, it, I think generally I have this one here commented. No, not commented, but like this bug variable is something that I use to just be able to control the character that's on scene on the editor. But on a final build, I will have this disabled and I will let the control handling to the code, because like here it forces the player to be controlled with keyboard one or something. Mm, it's component AI controller. Okay, like this is AI, like NPCs have this AI controller component. So if the component is not detected, then the character gets marked as human player, because if it's not controlled by AI, it has to be controlled by a human. Then if human player UI controller canvas, okay, this activates the canvas on the player marker if the player is human. So I think I'm going to make a list of things I need to relearn. Like for example, watching this, I really need to relearn how does the input system work. Like how does it control assignment work? Because I really don't understand. Because usually this line doesn't work because I have that disabled. But if this one is commented, then at which point of the code does the controls get assigned? Maybe it's not even on this script. I think it was actually done on a different script. I'm going to. I don't even know where to take notes, bro. Okay, then singleton references. These are references to the singleton that we saw before. So object manager. Oh, okay. So here you add the character. So this is on the start functions. So after the character gets added, like created, here on this part of the code, it adds itself to the object manager. So it passes the game object itself. It passes itself. It passes its theme, and if it is a human player or not. Add the character that just got instantiated to the complete character list. Okay, yeah. And oppoint class, root singleton. Yeah, this is the oppoint class. Like this is just references to the singleton. And this is like you wouldn't really need to add them because you can just use this by itself, but this just makes it like easier to access. And rigid body, okay, yeah, you just get the rigid body component. The animator update mode. This is very important, like extremely important. Like the animator, like all of the important parts which are logic of the game have to use a fixed frame rate. So originally the animator doesn't use a fixed frame rate. It uses a variable frame rate which depends on the performance of your game, and that's a problem because like the animator controls all of the logic of the moves, so it really needs to be a fixed frame rate. The code for getting the y-axis scale multiplier for the sprite. And this is because I stretch vertically the sprites since the camera is pointing downwards. Yeah, this is just some quick trigonometry to get the new y scale of the character. Then here you get body figures. What is this reference taken? Here. Yeah, this is the collide. Is the capsule collider? Yeah, that's the capsule collider. This is the radius and the height of the capsule collider of the character. Then here there are a bunch of parameters. The friction, the the friction combined. This is like some parameters on how the friction works. The bounciness, you don't want the character to bounce like it was a ball. Then super punch is false. Is cutting false. Yeah, this is like the default. By default, your character is not using super punch and neither is cutting. Like this is not very well like structured, but I don't really know how to structure all of this mess, you know. Well, overall, this is just like references to other objects, and that's it. If you're on team 0, then you, yeah, okay. So when you assign your character as independent team, you temporarily are placing him on the 0 team, but then here you call the independent team assigner and it assigns you automatically a negative number. Okay, this is the numeric facing right value. And sprite render material. Here you instantiate the sprite render material. What? This is very weird. I'm going to ignore that for now, to be honest. Why will the character start with the aura already activated? Is this really a thing? Like, what? Compute stats. Okay. Then we're finally out of the start function. And now we have state factory selection depending on the character. Okay, yeah, so each character has its own state factory because each character has its own states. So, for example, Vegeta will have a Big Bang attack state and that kind of thing. Then Super Saiyan Gogeta will also have like, I don't know, I don't remember any Gogeta moves right now. Like, for example, base Gogeta will have a meteor explosion state, and all of that is on the state factories of each individual character. So what this thing does is, let me think. So you type is type defined. Yeah, I think type is just this. Like this is just like you just call this function and pass it this parameter here. And it just reads it and then it returns the proper factory. And probably this has been used before on the start or on the wait. Yeah, here. Like when you call the state machine, you pass as a parameter the factory, like the state factory, and the state factory depends on the character type. Yeah, okay. should probably comment this. Like, okay, yeah, so that's what this function does. It just returns you the proper state factory, and that's it. So like, the thing is, every time you add a new character to the game, you have to come to this function and add a new case. Like when I added Super Saiyan Grade 2 Vegeta, I have to come here and add these two lines. So it's a bit annoying, but I wasn't really able to come up with a better way to do this. Void update. Bro, the update is so short, like it's only two lines. It's so funny. This line doesn't even do anything. Like the only thing that happens is that you call it. Oh, of course, you call the state machine update. Like it's the state machine which actually like carries all the update of the character. And then the character machine it's really cool how it works, because like you'll see later on that every state, like walk state, jump state, or punching state, whatever state, they always have like a start function, an update function, fixed update function, and all of those functions always get called from the state machine, because the state machine tells you what state the character is in right now. So if you're on the running state, then the update function from that running state is called from this state machine. And that update is actually called from here. So this state machine.update actually means let's call the update function of the state we are in right now. It's pretty cool the way it works. Then fixed update, you have, yeah, bro, I love this. Last post equals current post. Very self-explanatory line. I really understand what I meant when I wrote this. Very cool, bro. What's even last post and current post? Oh, it's for the render interpolation. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to write a comment saying render interpolation stuff. Then this is just the same as the update one, but with fixed update for the state machine. And point flag. After executing the state machine fixed update, reset the point flag. What? I'm confused, bro. After executing the state machine fixed update, reset the point flag. Oh, okay. So like, why? Why do I have to reset? Is there an explanation on what a point flag does? stores if something was appointed on this frame. Okay, then it makes absolute sense. So like every frame you have to make this false because you only want to know if something was appointed on this frame. So at the start of the frame you have to uh, clear the flag. Way to then effect 8 after executing the state machine reset the effect. Okay, this is the same, right? Like effect 8 stores if an enemy was hit on this exact frame. Mm, reset it. Okay, got attacked. This is actually from hit control. As I said, hit control controls what happens when you get attacked. So that's why the got attacked is in there. Player render base moves. Player render base moves. What? I don't know what is this, bro. Uh, why is this getting updated at all? Why is this going to ignore it? Okay, apply velocities. it just takes frame velocity and frame move and applies it. Like, not much to see there. Like move velocity, frame velocity and frame move are controlled usually through the animator. Like on the animator, okay, bro, have to wait for the compiling. So let's see, like maybe jump. No, actually, there's nothing here. Maybe the jump is hard coded. Yeah, the jump is hard coded because it depends on the jump height of the character. I need like a combo or something. Where was? I can't find any like. Oh yeah, here frame move. So here you can see the amount of like the speed of the movement is controlled here on the animator. You can see this number here move through the frames. So yeah, like here I control it, and then on this part of the code, it gets applied to the rigid body of the character. And then after that we have the input buffers. This is the part of the code which controls all of the buffers, and it kind of sucks. Like it's so confusing. It's the same code for every single input, so it's very awful to read. I think I'm going to stop now. This has been enough suffering for today. So yeah, bro. Okay, see you next time for more suffering on the coding hell of Unity.